Okay, this is cause number 2020-0D06636, State of Texas versus Alejandro Montalvo. Present in court this afternoon with his attorney, Mr. Enrique Lopez, and the state's attorney, Mr. Eric Willard. And is your true and correct name Alejandro Montalvo?
Yes, sir.
And is your date of birth 10/25 of 1987?
Yes, sir.
And do you recognize your attorney there, Mr. Lopez?
I do. Yes, sir.
And Mr. Lopez, do you recognize your client, Mr. Montalvo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, Mr. Willard, I guess this is a plea agreement that you're standing in for Mr. Dixon on. And would you state for us the plea agreement, please?
Will, Your Honor, in exchange for a plea of guilty on the indictment, which is an unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, the state is offering 12 months confinement in a state jail institution, no community service, no fine. That is it.
Okay, just 12 months, state jail.
I should say, Judge, although it's not in the plea paper, it obviously credit for time served, and I just looked it up, and he looks like he's got 227 days as of today.
Yeah, he's got 227 and 6 months, or no, 1 year is 365. So he's got a lot of the time credit. I don't know how the time credits work. He'll get full credit for all those 227 days. I don't know if that will equal a release immediately or if it'll take a few more days. I don't know.
Not on a state jail, Judge. This is a state jail plea.
Oh, okay.
Your Honor, my client was arrested initially in Lamb County, and he was extradited to El Paso. But I believe he was arrested on the warrant here from El Paso. Detained.
He spent some time then in Lamb County also?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe he was detained pursuant to this warrant.
Okay, do you know how much time that would be?
Well, he was arrested on July 28, almost a year ago to the date, and he was extradited to El Paso on December the 15th.
Okay, so he was
very close.
So if he was in jail July 28th, then all you got to do is get that information to the clerk, Ms. Rubio, and I'll give him credit for those days if he was in custody that time. And by the time they get all that done, it's a year exactly then.
Yes, sir.
It should be a time served. So, it looks to me like the state jail would tell the El Paso County Detention Facility, don't even send him across the street or whatever. The state jail's here in El Paso too.
Yes, sir.
So I would imagine they just say release him from there.
Yeah.
As long as they can get the fingerprints on the judgment, that's all they need.
Yes, sir. We just need to make sure that the judgment does reflect the credit from July 28 of 2019.
Okay, have you got that data to give to the clerk, Ms. Rubio? Or do you think we have that we've got to have it somewhere. Somebody's got to have that information that he was in custody.
The July 28th date, Judge?
Yes. Does it look like he was transferred from Lamb County to here?
I don't see anything. I need to keep looking and see if I can find the initial warrant.
All right. Well, let's try to get that done because that makes some significant difference.
Yeah, I didn't know about that, Judge. But the bottom line is, if he served his year, I'm concerned that they might not even cut him free until and unless he gets over to Rogelio, and that would be a tragedy.
Well, yeah, we've run into that issue occasionally, but when they've actually set up the issue where a defendant has actually served every day that he's owed, like if it's July 28th, if he really was in custody on July 28th based on our warrants, and today's July 29th, then he served it. And so then if let's say Mr. Lopez would file, what in my opinion, what you do is you file a writ of habeas corpus and you ask Rogelio Sanchez unit, under what authority are you going to hold him? And they can't hold him because he served it, you know. And under the writ trumps any administrative stuff that they have. We've run into that once, I believe. I think it was actually when you used to work at the public defenders. I don't think you did it, but somebody in their office, they'd served, it was like over 2 years. So they had their full 2-year sentence served. And we finally talked to the lawyers and they went, no, we're not going to contest the writ because it's obvious there's no authority we're holding him under. And then you ask the sheriff of El Paso County, what authority are you holding him under? Well, I'm not holding him under any authority myself because my only authority is he's got to serve the sentence and we transfer him, but there's nowhere to, you know, he served it. So let's make sure for the most important thing here is to make sure that we get those the documents that prove when he was arrested in Lamb County and that it was, you know, that it was based on our warrant. And if that be the case, then he served it. So we should be able to get him out. And if he isn't out by, you know, this weekend, then I want to know first thing Monday morning. You know,
Judge, just looking at the indictment, which I'll read in a moment, but the incident occurred on the 24th day of February, and he was arrested, as I recall, on that date. Or maybe they let him go or whatever, but clearly the likelihood of him serving his sentence is true. But not to get ahead of the ball game, I don't think we've heard him say he's guilty.
that's true. Yeah. Well, that's what I was trying to say. But that was our understanding of the plea agreement was it was 12 months.
Yeah, we can still go forward with that, Judge, and we'll do the housekeeping and figure out the how much credit, if any, he has.
All right. And so, Mr. Montalvo,
Sorry, sir.
you understand that is the plea agreement. It is one year or 12 months for this sentence.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now we have in front of us, and you understand the plea agreement is not absolutely binding upon me, but should I choose not to follow it, should I choose to be harsher than that, you could withdraw your plea. We could proceed to a jury trial on this matter. But if I follow the plea agreement, it's final. You cannot withdraw your plea. You cannot appeal the case without my consent. And depending on your credit, either you'll be released very quickly or you'll serve out whatever remains of the sentence. And I just don't know because I don't have that information in front of me. You understand that?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Now, we have in front of us some documents marked State's Exhibit 1, the guilty plea and waiver forms in this case. They bear the signature of your attorney, the state's attorney, and what appears to be your signature. Did you, in fact, sign these documents?
I did, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
Did you read them before you signed them?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you understand what you were reading and signing?
Yes, sir.
Did your attorney further explain to you the meaning of these documents?
Yes, sir, he did.
Do you have any question about their meaning?
No, sir.
So if there's never any question, let me briefly explain to you what they mean. Primarily, two things. First, you're coming into court telling me through a judicial confession, yes, Judge, I did commit this offense. Secondly, you're telling me you understand that you're giving up some valuable rights here today. Most important of those rights is your right to a trial by jury, not only upon the issue of guilt, not guilt, but also upon the issue of any potential punishment. You fully understand that.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Understanding that, how do you plead then to this indictment, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And are you entering your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
Did anybody force you, threaten you, coerce you, or in any way make you plead guilty?
No, sir.
Did anybody promise you anything or persuade you in such a manner you felt you had to plead guilty other than the plea agreement stated on the record in open court here this afternoon?
No, Your Honor.
Now, you understand this is a state jail felony punishable by not less than 6 months nor more than 2 years in the state jail, a fine not to exceed $10,000. You understand I'd sentence you somewhere within those general guidelines.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
You are a U.S. citizen?
I am. Yes, sir.
And how old are you, sir?
I'm 33 years old.
30 what?
33.
33.
Yes, sir.
And how far did you go in school?
I graduated, sir. Diploma.
Good. And so you can certainly read and write the English language.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you ever been under the care of a psychiatrist or psychologist for mental health, mental illness issues?
No, sir.
Suffered any serious head injuries?
No, sir.
And you're telling me you understand everything that's going on here today. You believe you are mentally competent to enter this plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, you've had time to go over the facts, circumstances of the case, legal aspects of the case, and had time to evaluate your client's mental status.
Yes, Your Honor.
And based on all that, are you representing to me also that you believe he is mentally competent to enter the plea?
Yes, Your Honor. He's mentally competent.
Then based on your representation, Mr. Lopez, your representation, Mr. Montalvo, the court's observations of you in court, both here today and prior occasions, I find that you are competent to enter the plea. State may summarize the evidence.
Judge, if the state had been required to prove the case, we would have done so with legal and competent evidence, proving each and every element of the charge beyond all reasonable doubt that in the county of El Paso, state of Texas, on or about the 24th day of February in the year 2020, that Alejandro Montalvo did then and there intentionally or knowingly operate a motor propelled vehicle to win an automobile without the effective consent of Bo Stinson, the owner thereof. The vehicle was got it right here, a 2019 red Chevrolet Silverado Duramax. It was stolen out of Littlefield. We would move to admit State's Exhibit number 1, the plea papers, as well as State's Exhibit number 2, the 39.14 disclosure form.
No objections, Your Honor.
Received. Based on the evidence before the court finds the evidence sufficient to find the defendant guilty, and I so find him guilty as charged in the indictment. I'm ready to proceed upon the issue of punishment. It looks like you're from the up there around Lubbock area. Lamb County is up around there, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that where you plan to return to when you get out?
Yes, Your Honor. And if I could, I'll just say, if I could have my days figured out while pleading, I do have to find a ride and transportation up there. I don't have anybody in El Paso. So if there's any way that I could find out for sure if I'm being released today or roundabout the day, if at all possible, so I can get a ride back to Lubbock.
Yeah, we're going to find out as soon as we can. I've got somebody, Miss Ortiz, did you have your hand up there like you have some information that might help us? I guess not. Okay.
Judge, what is Mr. Montalvo's date of birth? Can somebody
I
tell
show
me
a date
that?
of birth of 10/25 of 1987. And see, my indication here was from the facts, it was February 23rd of 2020. DPS was informed defendant and co-defendant were traveling basically from Lubbock to El Paso in this truck. They got stopped at the Border Patrol check station or something. But anyway, that it all happened back there in February of 2020. Then I don't know if he made bond, like you say, got arrested, made bond, then somehow maybe have gotten rearrested back up and put in jail in Lamb County, and I really don't know what happened there. What happened? Can you help us a little, Mr. Montalvo?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. In about the day of February, I come up here. Vehicles reported stolen. I go back to Lubbock County. I wasn't incarcerated or warrant issued at that time. And on July the 28th of 2020, I was arrested on an unrelated warrant due to my parole. And I've been incarcerated since July the 28th of 2020. I have a copy in my property of the corpus, the hit that they confirmed. So yesterday would have marked the exact year that I've been incarcerated on. El Paso sends a warrant to my county or Lamb County, which I was already incarcerated, and I was extradited December the 17th up to El Paso. I talked to Mr. Enriquez now. I just was asking for the year credit on the year state jail, just for the simple fact I don't have anybody up here, but it has been a year. I haven't been out on any bond or PR bond, whether me posting bond or anything since last year, that I was arrested on the warrant.
So what happened was you were stopped here and they, you were stopped in El Paso though, or was at the checkpoint, or what happened?
Actually, it's a little bit different than that, Judge. What happened is the car was going to be sold, and apparently it was sold. And in any event, both individuals, there was a co-defendant, kind of walked away from it. So it took them some time to decide or get around to charging him. So it makes sense that he wouldn't have been picked up until later and likely back home in the Lubbock area. I'm trying to go through the jailing, but I'm not smart enough to do this well enough to find where it shows where he came from. I only show that he was arrested on 12/14/2020, which obviously is when he enters into our jail. But
But they might have had a warrant
figure it
outstanding
out.
for him all the way back, right?
I agree.
At some point, they had a warrant, and they could have executed the warrant as early as July, I guess, once he was in custody in Texas. But I don't
The
know.
warrant was signed on September 30th, Judge,
What year?
2020 by Judge Acosta.
Okay, so they actually issue the warrant for this offense September.
September 30th, yes.
So there may not be a full credit due on
But
that one,
But it's still probably very close.
except that it's a
Looks
different
like
like 2 months.
Looks like I can give him credit all the way back to September 30th, right? For sure.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then it's a question whether I could or could not give him credit back to July 28th. So I'll let you all decide, Mr. Willard and Mr. Lopez, look up whatever law you want for me to look that up, see if it's discretionary for me, or if I have to give it to him, or I can't give it to him.
Well, let me say the answer is that, Judge, I believe it's your call. You can always go less than what the plea offer says, just like you can say, I'm not going to go with it and turn it out. There is something else in his favor. He's been a trustee over there at the county jail. So you could kind of treat that as if he'd been in some kind of a class or course, if you will, and that he successfully completed it, and you can take 20% off of his sentence if he were to go to the state jail. Follow my reasoning there, and 20% will get you back to where he's at right now.
Okay. Well,
So
yeah,
all you'd have to do is reduce his sentence from the 12 months down to that September date you're talking about.
all right,
State won't oppose.
okay. And then I will go ahead and do that.
Thank you, Your Honor, very much.
Thank you,
Mr. Lopez.
Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you very
All
much.
right.
Thank you.
So I guess then the judgment will go back down to, what is it? To run from whatever, September 30th to now. So that's like, instead, what is that? 10 months?
What was the date again, Judge? September what?
September 30th.
Okay,
By the time they get it done tomorrow,
so that's 30 days back to August,
It'll be-
31 days. It's 61 days, make it 64 days. Make it 65 days less than 12 months. So it should be an 8-month sentence. Just go with 8 months, Judge. Excuse me, 10 months. And you've got
that's what I
your,
thought.
you've got your
That's
sentence.
what I thought. All right, well, we'll do a 10-month sentence then instead of 12.
Very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
All right.
Mr. Willard.
Sure.
And then, like I said, I can't guarantee when they let you out. What, are you going to try to get a bus pass or something?
At first, Your Honor, yes, I have a significant other. My mom doesn't drive. She's 67, never driven in her life. So long story short, it was Greyhound or her come pick me up. She's taken off of work yesterday or today and tomorrow to come get me because it's been such a struggle how I'm going to get from the jail to the Greyhound station downtown. I hear it's a 5-hour walk, a 30-minute drive. I'm not from here. I don't know El Paso. So to answer your question, she's going to come get me. So I was hoping I could tell her something by the end of the court when I plea out here, to tell her to come down here, because it is a 7-hour drive by vehicle. So that would release me tonight, but I mean, that's why I was adamant about finding out when I will be released, to tell her to come pick me up. And even still, I will be waiting outside the jail for a couple of hours or somewhere nearby, so like that I can wait to be picked up.
Yeah, and I just don't know how long it takes, Ms. Rubio, to, the paperwork to get to the jail from, signing this judgment. Sometimes that takes some time.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Judge, I don't think I can just do like a release. I think they need the judgment in order to release him.
Yeah, they're gonna have to have this judgment.
Yes, sir.
I don't think they'll have the judgment before tomorrow.
Before tomorrow? Okay,
I don't think so.
okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, you've.
Why don't we do this? Mr. Lopez, keep in touch with Ms. Rubio and she can tell you when she gets it over there. And then maybe you can contact the jail and see when it looks like he'll be released. And that way you can give his significant other the 7-hour heads up, about when he'll be released. It's kind of hard to figure it exactly. Somebody's probably going to be waiting for somebody for a little bit of time there.
Oh, that's fine, Your Honor.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck, sir.
Have
Right.
you pronounced the sentence, Judge?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I did pronounce the sentence, 10 months state jail. And so there it was. All
Thank you. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Mr. Lopez, thank you all.
Thank
All
you.
right, well, you all may be excused and we can proceed to, was it Mr. Robert Torres?
Ms. Rubio, if you can text me your phone number, please.
Yes.
All right, let's see, we have Ms. Pages is on this case. And this is cause number 2020-0D05348, State of Texas versus Robert Torres, present in court with his attorney, Ms. Pages, State's Attorney, Ms. Ritchie. Is your true and correct name Robert Torres?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is your date of birth 12/12 of 1979?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you recognize your attorney there, Ms. Pages?
I do, Your Honor.
Ms. Pages, do you recognize your client there, Mr. Torres?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and now, Ms. Ritchie, could you state the plea agreement, please?
Yes, Your Honor, it's 2 years TDC. Credit for any time served.
All right. And that looks like approximately 321 days, 322 days, something like that. Almost a year. All right, is that your understanding of the plea agreement, then, Ms. Pages?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that also your understanding of the plea agreement, Mr. Torres?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, now you understand the plea agreement is not absolutely binding upon me, but should I choose not to follow it, should I choose to be harsher than that, you could withdraw your plea and we could proceed to trial. But if I follow the plea agreement, it is final. You cannot withdraw your plea. You cannot appeal the case. You would be then transferred to the Texas Department of Corrections at their earliest convenience to serve out whatever would remain of this sentence, which doesn't appear that it would be too much. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay. Now, we have in front of us some documents marked State's Exhibit 1, the guilty plea waiver forms in this case. They bear the signature of your attorney, the state's attorney, and what appears to be your signature. Did you in fact sign these documents?
I did, Your Honor.
Did you read them before you signed them?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
And did you understand what you were reading and signing?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Did your attorney further explain to you the meaning of the documents?
She did, Your Honor.
Do you have any question about their meaning?
No, Your Honor.
So if there's never any question, let me briefly explain to you what they mean. Primarily two things. First, you're coming into court telling me through judicial confession, yes, Judge, I did commit this offense. And secondly, you're telling me you understand that you're giving up some valuable rights here today. Most important of those rights, the right to a trial by jury, not only upon the issue of guilt, not guilt, but also upon the issue of any potential punishment. Do you fully understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Understanding that, how do you plead then to this charge, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Entering your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did anybody force you, threaten you, coerce you, or in any way make you plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Anybody promise you anything or persuade you in such a manner you felt you had to plead guilty other than the plea agreement stated on the record in open court here this afternoon?
No, Your Honor.
Now you understand the potential punishment here. This is a felony of the, is this going to be second degree?
Yes, Your Honor, it's a second degree.
All right. Not less than 2 years nor more than 20 years in prison, a fine not to exceed $10,000. You understand I'll sentence you somewhere within those general guidelines.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
And how old are you, sir?
I am 41 years old.
And how far did you go in school?
11th grade.
What?
11th grade, Your Honor?
Okay. And you're certainly able then to read and write the English language?
I am, Your Honor.
Have you ever been under the care of a psychiatrist or psychologist for mental health, mental illness issues?
I have, Your Honor.
What kind of issues were those, or are they?
Bipolar disorder, and manic depression.
And are you presently getting medications to help you with that?
I am, Your Honor.
And are they helping?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are they helping you to such a degree that you believe that you are mentally competent this afternoon, that you understand everything that's going on?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And counsel, you've had time to go over the facts, circumstances of the case, legal aspects of the case, and had time to evaluate your client's mental status?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And based on all that, are you representing to me that you believe he is mentally competent to enter this plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then based on your representations, Ms. Pages, your representation, Mr. Torres, and the court's observations of you in court both here today and prior occasions, I find that you are competent to enter this plea. The state may summarize the evidence.
Yes, Your Honor, had the state proceeded to trial in this case, we would prove in each and every element listed in the indictment beyond a reasonable doubt.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, received based on the evidence before the court finds the evidence sufficient to find the defendant guilty. And I so find, because we've gone over it, extensive hearings in these cases with the state and the defense attorney present, where we have gone over the details that are involved here. And I'm now ready to proceed upon the issue of punishment. Once you get out, Mr. Torres, what is your plan?
I plan on going back to work, Your Honor. I'm a manager for Wing Daddy and was moved to charcoaler after they bought him out. So I plan on going back to work. I'm gonna live with my parents and we'll go from there.
So you're gonna work at Wing Daddies or charcoaler?
Whichever they send me, Your Honor, it's the same, it's owned by the same owners. Wing Daddy's bought out charcoaler about 3 years ago.
All right. Well, very good. Now, are you still, let's see, are you still in a relationship with the complainant in this case?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay. And I think, what do you all have some children, don't you?
We
Together?
do. Yes, Your Honor, we do.
All right. So you all are going to get back together after all of this?
There will be, when I'm released, I'll be staying with my parents and we're gonna go through counseling and then we'll take it from there. We'll see how we do, but we're gonna take it slow.
Well, it sounds like you've actually thought this out pretty carefully, maybe both of you, as to how to proceed.
We have, Your Honor, with COVID and being laid off from work, we're under a lot of stress and I'm not making any excuses, but things happen and we want to learn from our mistakes and not rush into anything anymore. So we, we take our time. So, the kids and their well-being are more important and we just want to make sure things are done right.
Right. I think you have a number of children. Was it like 5 children or something like that?
Yes, Your Honor. I have 5 children.
How old are they?
The oldest right now is 16 and the youngest just turned 8.
All right. Well, that takes a lot of work to have those kids do well. So.
It does,
All
Your Honor.
All right, well, I'll follow the recommendation, and it's 2 years to serve, and give you credit for all the time that you have served. And good luck to you, sir. I hope
Thank you,
everything
Your Honor.
works well for you and your family.
I appreciate it.
Your
Thank you.
Honor. And we could have these counts run concurrent.
Oh, of course, that is always the case.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you. All right. Let's see, next I want to go, oh, I see Ms. Hall is here now on Carlos Martinez.
Yes, Judge. I hate to ask this, do you have the capability of doing a very small breakout session with the jail?
I guess we could. We generally have to stop when we do that.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want
but-
y'all to stop.
What?
I don't want y'all to stop. I was just, there's a new development in the plea, and I think he's still gonna want to go forward. I just want to verify with him before we put it on the
No,
record.
I would rather do that and make sure that he's comfortable and you're comfortable with doing whatever we're gonna do before we do
Okay.
it. So